it's working. And it's dark as shit. Excellent. Well, at least now you won't be able to see the ambient trait of my flesh melting off. Hello, boys. Well, let me get chat pulled up. Can I just... Oh my god. Oh my god. Can you fuck off? I don't care about moderation. Fuck off, YouTube. I'm busy. Alright. Hello, boys. Welcome back to the core. I am not drinking Mountain Dew. Well, okay, I have Mountain Dew in the car, but I'm not drinking Mountain Dew as part of a review. I am just, I've decided to embrace my true passion, and that is cosplaying as a James Bond villain by being in the dark. And oh my god, I realize I have the jacket on to, help with carrying shit, but oh my god, my flesh is melting because it's so humid out here. Hold on, I'll get it. Wonder if... oh my arm, oh my god. Okay, hopefully I don't accidentally sit on the vision, because I have attached that to the jacket, so hopefully I don't sit on that, because that has sharp edges on it. Where is the vision, so I can just keep track of it? Okay, it's right there. Alright, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome to Season 2, everybody. It's July. I hope you guys have been doing okay. I've been doing okay. And we're just gonna cut straight ahead into the smoking because you're only ever going to be able to see my face clearly when I either take a draw or light a match. So we're just gonna do that. I can't do the live editing or I can't do the digital fuckery that I did last year, because last year I was doing this through fucking Streamlabs, and this year we're doing it through my phone in my car. I have a power bank attached to my phone, so that way there's a buffer timer in between my phone dying and whatnot. I have no idea how it works. I have no idea how much time I have, but we're holding, my phone is holding at 65, and the power bank is currently just dipped below 90, so hoping for the best. Yeah, we'll see if we'll see how things pan out, but I'm gonna have to turn the light on. You guys are gonna see my melting flesh because I have to cut the cigar. I have the diesel hat, of course. I can tell they, yeah. So we're gonna get back to doing the smoking streams, except we're gonna do them from my car because I can't smoke in the apartment. Let me cut this so my car battery doesn't die. Yes, we're gonna do every single video from the car now. I guess I could show you guys real quick what I've got here. As I just butchered the fuck out of it. Oh my god. Okay, note to self, increase humidity in the goddamn Sereno box. So what do we got? We got the Sereno XX. This is the OG blend, because I figured this was an auspicious enough occasion. I can turn this off. I figured that this was an auspicious enough occasion to break out one of the special cigars. Also, I've still got like half of these from the box that I bought. Less than half now, but I don't want to think about it too much because that really depresses me. Oh god, it is humid and disgusting out here. So I'm just gonna like melt in the summer and whatnot, and just die of cold in the winter to do these live streams for you people, because I can't smoke in the apartment. But I want to get back into making content. I have videos that I want to make. I have videos I'm working on. I'm working on a Duet Night Abyss video. I still have to record some more footage for that, so that I can put something in there that's not the first hour of really bad gameplay remembering how to play Warframe. That's relevant. That's a relevant joke to the entire video, which, if you know anything about Duet Night Abyss, the joke is obvious. But I have my own jokes to make that other people probably haven't made, I hope. Well, we can hope. Anywho, let me, where are the matches? I have no idea, because if I lean back and just kind of sit normal in the seat, I can't see myself at all. I also have just a bundled up cable holding the phone to the iHome because the power bank and the fact that, it's my phone never sat well in the, the iHome. So it's all just quite confusing. The iHome was meant for the iPod Shuffle because it has a little slot for it, and eventually the fucking like OG iPod Touch, but maybe the iPod Nano as well, if I remember what that is correctly. I don't know, but I really should just tap this, shouldn't I? Anyway, I fucking destroyed. I gotta up the humidity in the Sereno box a little bit because these are brittle. Hold on, I feel a sneeze. I feel a sneeze. Hold on. Oh my god. Okay, my bad. I did not mean to sneeze at the phone. That is terrible. Okay, hold on. There's a button here. Oh, we can retouch? What does that mean? Retouch on. Ooh. Okay, well that doesn't do anything. All right, that's neato. All right, can we turn that off? Okay, that is off. I can create highlights live on stream. That's excellent. That's phenomenal. All right, well we got the chat on there. Remember to guard your privacy and abide by our community guidelines. Thanks, YouTube. But I'm too small, so you don't care. I don't make you any money. I'm stealing it. I'm not even stealing it. I'm just burning it. It's not about the money. It's about sending a message. Always remember that. And if Skinhead and the other boys are out there, listening, which I don't know. I don't know how accurate these figures are. It doesn't seem like they are. Ugh, I guess I could, take the phone down and be like, "Hey, boys, I'm live. Why don't you come say hello?" Nah, I won't do that. I won't pester them like that. If the boys want to subscribe, they'll subscribe. If they want to turn on the notification bell, they will turn on the notification bell. If they want to make like the IRA, if they recognize that these are real IRA hours, they will car bomb that like button. All right, that's how it is. That's just how it is. I love the IRA memes. Let me light this. All right. It is incredibly gross and disgusting out here, which is why I have brought with me a whole pitcher of tea that is invisible because it's dark as shit out here. Yeah, you can definitely tell that's a different brand. That is. That's not good. That is not good. That is not great. I did bring the whole pitcher out here, and yes, I was just drinking from the pitcher. But so if I end up pissing everywhere, we know why. I don't even know if I'm audible. And probably won't even know until days later when Aiden's like, "Why did you put out a live stream with shit audio?" And I'll go, "Okay, Aiden, I guess I'll just fucking scream at the phone next time, or hold it close to me, close to my heart." I guess I would have. Oh my god, excuse me. Better results streaming from the Domino's parking lot because I'd sit under a light there and it would come in through the sunroof. And then I would be visible, which means you could see my decaying flesh in this heat. I need to light the cigar. Okay, we are lighting the cigar. We're doing it much earlier than we did last year. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah, dude. Okay, let's, shit. Oh! Hey, look, I'm visible, guys. It's me. Yeah. Okay. Got a piece of tobacco in my mustache. God damn it. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is the Maduro Double X. This is a cigar that I am decently familiar with, right? And I remember I used to talk about, I remember the general kind of flow of these live streams, even though it's been 7 months. Um, we're not going to be able to game, obviously, because I don't want my phone to die prematurely. So, I'm just going to keep track of the power bank, and hopefully it doesn't run out, and hopefully I remember to keep it charged for these streams. So that way, I'm also going to have to, like, buy a fucking cigar every week to sit down and be like, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Skinny Penis, here to ramble incessantly while to fucking, to the chagrin of you people. Isn't it great? Now, some of you might be thinking, GZ, you may have gone over this like 10 minutes ago, but why is everything about this live stream worse than last year's version? Well, it's quite simple. It's quite what the fuck? It's quite simple, young one. I have moved because of a job change, and I cannot smoke in the apartment. And so therefore I have to smoke in my car in the parking lot of the apartment complex at minimum. I could just, smoke. I could smoke at the Domino's parking lot. I'm gonna move the seat forward so that way, I'm close to the, ow, my knees. I'm gonna move the seat forward just a little bit so I can, be closer to the phone so I don't feel like I'm shouting so much. But then again, I gotta wait for Aiden or Skinhead to come into live stream and tell me I'm garbage, you know? Anyway, yeah, so job change stuff. That happened 6 months early. And given how things are going now, it's not even 6 months early. It's looking like it's about a year early, which, you know, if I'm being honest, going down to one job 6 months early was fantastic. At least in terms of my, at least it was fantastic for my physical health, which is, something that I look at from time to time. However, my finances are arguably better, you know. So there's that, I guess. Um, I mean, they're better, not by much. But better is better. And hey, I'm not working like 60 to 80 hours a week, and so therefore I can sleep and I can play games. Oh my god. Oh my god. You don't know how much you don't know how you last year, okay? I understood the importance of sleeping and eating. I understood how those things played into my energy levels and were important for being able to sustain working at the amount that I was, right? You don't really really comprehend that until you stop working 60 to 80 hours a week and can suddenly, get anywhere from 6 to 12 hours of sleep a day. And then you do. There are so many days where I have seen that I have been down in bed for 12 hours and I'll just go, I don't have to be at work for a few more hours. Alarm, and then I'll just go back to sleep. I still do this, and it is July. It has been, I mean, it's been a full six months since I stopped working two jobs. It has been a full 6 months. You know, and I still do that. I still feel some lethargy, but not nearly as much. Also, I don't hurt nearly as much, which is fantastic. I do have some new problems, though. That being, I'm pretty sure I broke one of my fingers and just didn't do anything about it, and it didn't heal right, so now the joint is kind of fucked up, which means, it hurts when I put pressure on it. That's pretty good. Also, yeah, my right wrist, is still... My right wrist, I think I strained it and just didn't do anything about it, and so it didn't heal correctly, and now it just hurts. Now it just hurts when I, try to do the motion that you can't see on camera because it's dark as fuck and I can't seem to fucking remember that. I gotta fucking get better access to the picture here because oh boy, I'm a little thirsty. I'm gonna scoot back just a hair. Okay, this should be an appropriate distance to where I can be heard, but without shouting, but also I can access all the crap that I moved over to the driver's seat. Also, you can see the cigar. See, that's cool. It's like, oh, this is the only light, so you can see when I take a draw, because that'll be the awkward silence and the sudden, big light, bigger light, because I guess there is light in the background. Also, I smell like a sweaty dumpster. God damn. Ugh. Ugh. But yeah, this year so far has been, well, it's had its ups and downs, but on average it's been an up, so I consider that a win. I never realized how much I realized how much free time that I had lost. But now that I've gotten it back, now that I've had it back for, this full 6 months, I've only recently really kind of acclimated to doing stuff with the free time. Like right now, we're having one of our good old smonks like we used to, which these smonks on Tuesday mornings is not going to be the norm. It's actually going to be on Wednesday mornings after this. So that way, I don't have to worry about going to work the next day, because I have to work tomorrow, Tuesday, at 3 and work until close. I got a 10-hour workday tomorrow, which is fine, which is much better than the 16s I was pulling last year, which is great. And oh man, I've got so many funny things to say about the new crew that I'm working with. Because hey, pizza job is doing me okay. We'll say okay at worst. Okay at worst. I still enjoy pizza job more than Taco Bell, because Taco Bell fucking sucked. Because fast food fucking sucks. Maybe it doesn't suck so bad if you're the person eating, the fast food. But when you're the one who has to make it for, your ungrateful ass, it sucks. And, you wonder why fast food workers hate you. But, that's another thing, right? Is because I don't work at Taco Bell anymore, I am so much less angry. I have shed so much of that just Taco Bell rage. It is wonderful. It is so wonderful to, not be pissy all the time, and not just from sleep deprivation and frustration with, the people that put me in that situation. It's great. It's great to not be pissed off all the time. I mean, oop. All right, we got a notification. Oh, it's just the fucking weather app telling me, oh hey, it could rain in Martin. I'm gonna turn on Do Not Disturb, so that way we're good. So that way there's no more of that. But yeah, it's great not being angry anymore. I mean, don't get me wrong. Deep down, I am still the Taco Bell manager. I am still just an angry motherfucker. But I'm not that by default anymore, which is fantastic. This has got a really bitter coffee flavor on it. Good lord. I'm grabbing the pitcher here. Give me just a second. Oh god, that is sour. Ugh. That is sour. This is what happens when it just sits on the floor in my bedroom for a few days. Ugh. And the reason why it's sitting on the floor in my bedroom is because there's no room in the refrigerator. Because I have like 4 pizzas to eat. I have like 4 pizzas to eat that I'm gonna get to on my upcoming days off. Which also what I'm gonna be working on my upcoming days off is the Do It Night Abyss video and some other videos. I'm gonna try and revive this Breath of the Wild save file because I think it's still in there. I just need to uh, I just need to fiddle with it to make it work. If not, I'm gonna have to put out a video saying, "Hey, Breath of the Wild is on an indefinite hiatus because I need to make all the progress again." Uh, which is gonna necessitate that I kind of shake the rust off for Breath of the Wild and get good at the combat, so that way I don't die a billion times. But that should be fine. That should be okay. I can do that. That's just playing a video game. I can do that. There's a lot of games. I would like to say, oh, I've been playing a lot of games. I have been trying to, just maintain a good. I've been trying to like maintain doing my dailies on my gacha games, and that has not been going well. I have abandoned Genshin Impact, and it makes me feel bad because I also just inconsistently play Nikke, Path to Nowhere, uh, Snowbreak, and let's see, hold on, Nikke, Path to Nowhere. Nikke, Path to Nowhere, Snowbreak, Master Duel, which Master Duel I can just do a simple check-in and stuff, and Azure Lane. I just inconsistently play those games, and Genshin's just completely fallen off. I haven't touched Genshin in months. I haven't touched Genshin in forever, which sucks. But also the game Genshin is really showing its age. I like Snowbreak a lot more than Genshin because Snowbreak is just various Genshin Impact game modes, sort of, with like gunplay, and it's all like warp to location, shoot boss in the face, warp out of location, mission complete. It's a lot more streamlined in that way, in like level design. Although the design is kind of plain in the early game. CSUN is getting a lot better with their level design. It's getting a lot more varied and vibrant looking, rather than just like gray cityscape covered in fucking Titan dandruff, you know? You know, Snowbreak is improving. Path to Nowhere is, well, what should I say about Path to Nowhere? I still love Path to Nowhere, but the game has not improved, but it also hasn't gotten worse, So it's fine. I still love Path to Nowhere. I still love the world. I still love, doing stuff with sinners. It's great. I still enjoy it. I wish I could enjoy it more. Nikke, the only thing carrying Nikke at this point for me is the story, because if I want like, well, a woman, I can just play Azure Lane, which Azure Lane is just like the grind simulator. That's really all it is just the grind simulator. Um, which is fine, which is whatever. You know, I'm cool with that because I like the grind. But the thing is, because I just fucking sit there with Azure Lane, I don't play Genshin, and I want to grind. I want to grind Genshin. It's a sit down thing, and I'm doing stuff. I realize I need to not talk at my balls and talk at the phone. But yeah, Genshin and Azure Lane are just like gigantic grinds that I need to. Azure Lane I can just like let it play on the emulator on one monitor and then just have like anime on the other monitor or a YouTube video or whatever. I can't do that with Gen. I mean, I guess I could listen to a YouTube video while playing Genshin and while doing my Genshin grinds. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just need to be more strict with myself about doing my dailies at minimum in all my games. Which, let's see, Master Duel, Snowbreak, PTN, Azure Lane, Nikke, and Genshin. That's six. That's six gotcha games. Oh, oh, oh. And and each of these games has varying degrees of friendliness towards somebody who isn't spending, which is, I mean, that's varying degrees of nice, I suppose. PTN's got a neat, like, soft pity system, which I think is nice. Snowbreak has the 100% banners, which is fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. Let's see. Azure Lane, you can just grind it. Legit, no problem. I mean, and the amount, and the amount of expenditure just depends on luck, but you can grind it to make that just a time sink. Let's see. Snowbreak has the 100% banners, and you can grind out a lot of currency. Master Duel is just punishing and unforgiving, unless you pay for it, in which case, because that's what Konami wants. They want your money. Do not give it to them. And then Genshin is just like, yeah, we have our 50/50 banner, and it took fucking years to get the 50/50 on the weapon banner. I tell you what, though, the Duet playing the beta test in Duet Night Abyss has been fantastic. And without going into over much detail, because I want to save that for the actual video, the reason why is because it's so much. This is gonna sound stupid. This is gonna sound so stupid, but it's because it's so much like Warframe. It's because it's so much like Warframe. I love I loved Warframe. I mean, I played the game all through college. That was fun. That game. I gave that game. I gave that game over 4 years of my life, and I do not regret it, because I remember before Spectres of the Rail, which I guess was more than 4 years, but I did take a pretty long break from it because I just didn't have the hardware to play the game well. Um, but I remember pre-Spectres of the Rail and how bad it was. And then Spectres of the Rail came out, and then, I started playing it I started really playing it in college, and that was a great time. But DE made a lot of mistakes with Warframe. They made so many mistakes with Warframe, and it just soured the game, right? So, the common mistake that well, I guess not the common mistake, but the mistake that I take primary issue with in regards to Warframe is just the fact that they would put something new in the game, and it would maybe vaguely relate to something that already existed in the game. Maybe and vaguely. And then, it was just system stacking. And I think I've ranted about this before. It was just stacking a system on a system on a system on a system without really making those systems that are stacked on top of each other, mind you, kind of work in harmony with each other, and, without going back to rework, the oldest parts of these systems to make them, to just update them. The modding system is still nebulous and, really difficult for new players to get a solid grasp on. Warframe is still the game where, if you are a new player getting into it, you either need to have a second monitor for the wiki to understand what the fuck you're doing, or you need to have somebody who understands what's going on guide you through the game. To get, until you get going and you understand things, which I think is terrible. The DE has reworked that new player experience several times, and okay, the new player experience is, in terms of, like, okay, here's the movement, here's the weapons, here's the powers. That is fine. I think it's adequate. Right? I think that part of the tutorial experience is adequate. But everything else is just kind of like, figure it out. What is modding? Nah, figure it out. You know, how do you put together a build for a weapon? Figure it out. Or have somebody tell you. You know, really. You know, it's like look it up online. Or have somebody who's a vet tell you, oh hey, you know, you want to look at these stats to figure out, you know, hey, do I build for crit or do I build for status? What is status? How does that work? You know, which status effect should I be building for? You know, blah 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 blah, this and that, yeah, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You know, what are void relics? How does that relate to the rest of the, you know, what is that? How do I, you know, what is mastery? And why does my rank in it matter? You know, how do I get new frames? You know, oh, I don't have enough mod space. Can I fix that somehow? You know, all these things. You know, Warframe presents an adequate tutorial for weapons and movement. And even then, it's just the basics of weapons and movement. If you want to learn advanced movement techniques, you've either got to figure it out or you have to see somebody doing advanced movement techniques. You know, the game will teach you, oh, hey, you can wall run and you can bullet jump and you can double jump and you can what else? Wall run, but you can do a dodge roll. But it doesn't teach you that, you know, and it probably is like, oh, you can also aim glide. But it doesn't teach you, like, look, if you bullet jump and dodge roll into an aim glide, then you can just sail across the map. It doesn't teach you that. You have to see somebody do that or be told, "Oh yeah, no, bullet jump and then press shift to roll in midair and then, you know, and then aim glide to just sail across the map." You know, as for new frames, it doesn't even tell you. You're expected to see. You're expected to go fight the boss on Venus and be like, "Oh, hey, look, I got a piece of a new frame." What, you know, it doesn't even tell you, like, "Hey, by the way, you got to buy Rhino's blueprint from the shop for credits." You know, and then you have to get 3 different pieces to drop from the boss, which, you know, hell, you might not even get that, you know. It's going to take more than 3 runs unless you get lucky, which kind of sucks. I mean, but that's just looter shooter. That's just looter games that do that. So that's a small grind by comparison. You know, then it's like, okay, well, how do I do survivals for an hour like I see on YouTube? It's like, well, you just have to have a good build, and, you know, or you can be like me and cheat and run Necros and be really good at Necros. I could probably still fuck with Necros. And, you know, since Harrow Prime is out, if I decided to grind him up, I could probably fuck with Harrow Prime. Because out of everybody that, you know, was in my little circle that played Warframe, I was the only one who could play Harrow adequately. And I was good at it. Fuck. It's so humid out here. It's so gross and humid out here that it's gone out. But it wouldn't be an early morning smoke stream if the cigar didn't go out, which is the first time it's in 30 minutes. Then again, we did light 10 minutes in, so it's only been about 20 minutes. So, yeah, I consider that a win. Oh my god, that blinded me a little bit because I was looking at the phone. Oh yeah. So yeah, Warframe's got problems. Warframe has so many problems. The open worlds, and that's, yeah, I guess moving on to the next kind of rant here, as for why Warframe took such just a downward spiral, right? The open worlds. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the open worlds, but the one singular problem I have with the open worlds is that they are introduced to the player much too early. You know, for somebody like me who was playing the game well before they came out and thus had no problem, I already had an understanding of the game and its systems and all this and that. I understood, oh, hey, there are these open worlds where you can, grind certain things. The problem is that they're introduced that for the new player, they are introduced much too early. Cetus and the Plains of Eidolon are directly block your path directly to get to Mars, right? The Fortuna is a little bit out of the way. Fortuna does not block your path to Venus, or does not block your path through Venus to Mercury, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that. They could have redone the node map, I guess. I haven't played Warframe in years at this point. But the Plains of Eidolon is just is a wall that's in the way much too soon. Should not have been that way. It should have been on the way to Lua, which does not unlock until after the second dream, which is a quest that is a decent way into the game. You will at least start understanding how to play the game by the time you get to the second dream, which means that would be a great time to just have the Plains of Eidolon show up and go, "Hey, what's going on, buddy? I'm the first open world. I'm here." That'd be great. That'd be fantastic. That's. I'm just gonna kind of go in order with these things, at least insofar as I remember, because I did quit shortly after Deimos, the infested open world. I quit shortly after that came out because it was just like, look, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore because I don't have anybody to play with anymore, and this sucks. This sucks really hard. I did enjoy the Railjack because it's like, this is Guns of Icarus but with a higher player base that I can play with, which is fantastic. I loved it, and I loved it even more when they started introducing the solo system, and I kind of briefly came back to see what that was about, but they had added so much more and changed so much other stuff that it felt kind of hostile to me, which may be a result of me getting older because I am an old bastard. But enough ranting. Let me bring that back to my original point. Duet Night Abyss, right, it takes a pretty heavy and blatant inspiration from Warframe. I do not have a problem with this. I think it's really cool. There's so much Warframe. There's so much of Warframe's DNA in DNA. Huh. Okay. Anyway, there's so much of Warframe there, and it's the part of Warframe that I love. Which is, the character building. And Duet Night Abyss does it really well. And it's also really, really simple. I mean, maybe not so much because I did play Warframe, so I inherently understand a lot of the systems that they have in there. Also, a funny thing, and I will mention this in the Duet Night Abyss video, is DNA made it so that melee weapons feel weaker than guns in Duet Night Abyss, but in Warframe it's the other way around. Melee weapons are superior to guns, which kind of sucks. Maybe they've fixed that since I quit, but it just seems like, oh yeah, why would I use any gun when the paracesis exists and you get it for free? I think you get it for free. I don't know. But the point is, melee weapons are king in Warframe. At least they were when I played. And that kind of sucked because I liked the gunplay. I did like the melee too. Which they made comboing worse because Atarax players are a stain on humanity that should be purged. And I do have a rant for that in the DNA video. That I haven't even I'm going to script it, sort of. It'll be like a semi-scripted video, which will be great, which will be fantastic, because I got into the beta test and I want to express my thoughts about the game, which I love it. I do. I really do. Is it a game that I'm going to be able to get a whole bunch of people to play with me? No, absolutely not. But the game is also structured to where I don't need that, because DNA takes takes a lot of things from a bunch of different games. I think I saw a video about it when I, just searched it up on YouTube that called Duet Night Abyss every single video game. And I thought that was funny because you can see a lot of different things kind of mixing together, and insofar as I am able to see, it works. It it needs some polish, obviously, because it's a beta test. The beta test is there to show, hey, try the game, see what we need to fix, and it has promise. It has promise. It has so much promise, and I love it. I love it, probably because it reminds me of the past and makes me feel nostalgic for a time when things were easier. Back when I wasn't, back when I was less bitter about the world and different things. But it's, whatever. I think we'll table Duet Night Abyss for now because I want to save it for the video. I want to save it for the video that I'm going to be recording my commentary for, and scripting on Wednesday and Thursday, and hopefully we'll be able to post that on Saturday. Ooh, I hope so, because I think the beta test ends Wednesday, which sucks because I want to play more. But then again, I guess DNA has been eating up a bunch of my time, so I can filter that into getting on a consistent schedule of clearing dailies for the games that I already play. Let me just check battery real quick. Okay, so the phone is charging. And I did get a notification. I hate the new UI. Okay, well, Skinhead texted me. I can't really read it because the cable's in the way. I'll look at that later, though. But, yeah. So let's get back to me and what's going on with me. So, yeah, I got promoted at Pizza Job. I got promoted up 2 rungs of the ladder. So, yeah, being an assistant, going from cross-trained driver pizza man to, skipping manager or skipping shift lead, quote unquote, to assistant manager was kind of cool. But then again, I've also been managing at Taco Bell for years, so I have the experience. And I was ready to move up at Taco Bell, but Saggy Tits was not ready for that. And also, Saggy Tits and I weren't friends, so he wasn't interested in promoting me. Shit, he wasn't even interested in giving me and Dave our raises that we were supposed to get because, oh, you guys will get paid too much. Fucking what? Shift differentials are important, and we should have gotten them on night shift, but we did not because the geriatric cunts on morning shift, cried about it because, we shouldn't get paid for doing their job, even though we do their job and mid-shift's job. Whatever. So, me. This thing not burning evenly is going to be a problem. I say 45 minutes into the live stream. But yeah, it's been great. I got a new crew of boys. Is that fucking tar? No, it's just fucking weird flavor. I got a new crew of boys. I am the 3rd oldest guy there, and it shows a lot because these boys, right? These boys will converse with each other. And because the oven is really loud, the boys will be really loud, which makes sense. I don't have a problem with that. We were loud at Taco Bell. It's whatever. All right, that's just the nature of these kinds of places. But they will converse with each other, and I will generally be able to understand most of what they are saying. But then they'll say some shit, and I will be completely lost. And one of them knows that I'm not, up to standard on all of the new things that these boys say. And he'll purposefully say shit to me or in my general direction. I will just blatantly not understand, and he gets a little bit of a giggle. He gets a little bit of a chuckle out of it. Which, now that I understand that that is what is happening, it's like, okay, whatever. Yes, haha, laugh at the old man. Whatever. And hey, the boys are good. They're good boys. I do enjoy working with them. You know, and the thing is, right? One stark difference between Pizza Job and Taco Bell is I don't have to deal with two shitty shifts. I don't have to pick up the slack for two shitty shifts because the boys at their worst here at Pizza Job are adequate. At their worst, they are adequate, right? Which is just which is just such a vast improvement over what I had been dealing with for the previous 7 years of my life. It's fantastic. You know, yeah, things get a little bit heavy considering we're at a $2 million, considering I'm now at a $2 million store. Things get a little bit heavy for the boys who don't have as much experience. This is to be expected. And, you know, I can be reasonable and say, oh, you guys got fucked today. No wonder shit didn't get done. That's cool. I can deal with it. That's fine. It's like I said, constantly last year. In comparison to Taco Bell, everything is easier at Pizza Job. Everything is easier. Everything is so much easier that I don't mind. It's fine. And I get it because shit. When, back in January, when I first started working here in Martin, I was getting fucked on the daily. And that's just because, I was driving for an hour and was tired and in recovery from working the shifts that I worked. But after I, recovered basically from just resting and, moving here also helped greatly. It's fine. I get it. I've sped up. I've gotten a lot better at the job. Obviously, I would hope so. And it's fine. I get it. You know, so I don't get angry. I've said this before, earlier during the stream. I don't get angry like I did at Taco Bell. Like if I walk in and the store's a disaster area, 9 times out of 10, I know it's because those boys got fucked and because nobody was there, and that's why shit got fucked. I get that. It's fine. I'm cool with it. And the fact that everything is easier makes, just being cool with that, better. That being said, if those boys do slack off, I do give them shit for it. I mean, I have not legit. Okay, there was one time I lost my cool with one of them, but I admit that I was in the wrong with that. I was wrong to lose my cool like that. But that's on me. That's on me. That being said, so other than that one time, I've never legit lost my cool with them. Like I'll give them shit, but like you guys are fucking garbage. But they know I'm just fucking around. They know I'm just fucking around. I'm not our supervisor. Fuck. Yeah. Yeah, the humidity out here and the fact that I'm rambling. Alright, you're gonna see my melting flesh again. Get ready. I know it's gonna be quite shocking. Alright, what do we got? Oh, I stare at the phone. I shouldn't. I should look away. Yeah. But I like the boys. They're great. They're great. They they remind me a lot of my night shift back at Taco Bell in different ways. Which is great, which is fantastic. I mean, shit. I am one of four people at that store that was born before the year 2000. And, yeah, it shows and whatever, which means that these are a lot of young guys. And there are no women working at this store, which, you know, mostly due to a lack of applicants and also due to the fact that, when we get applicants, it seems like the guys apply for, guys apply first. And, and because of that, we call them more. Whatever, you know? So when I say the boys, I mean, no women. There are no women working at this store, which I don't have. I know I gotta go out of my way and say, oh, I don't have a problem with women working in these places. I mean, shit, I worked with the fucking Donna, but I mean, she's I've told Donna as a joke, it's like, Donna, you're an honorary man, because she's a she's a carpet muncher. Well, she's bisexual, but she's a carpet muncher, you know. And whatever. But they were anyway. So yeah, when I say the boys, I mean all boys, and they're like just turning 18, kind of young for the most part, which is, again, nothing wrong with that. They've got and they've got a strong work ethic, which is really nice, especially in comparison to some of the trash I had to sift through at Taco Bell. I have not had to do so much trash sifting. I haven't had to do any trash sifting, actually, even as an assistant. It's fantastic. I love it. I love it. It's great. Everything is better. Everything is better. I know some of you might be like, oh, GZ, you're just looking at the job through like some fucking rose-tinted glasses. It's not actually better. It's actually better. All right? I took a 50-cent pay cut for this much improvement. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. It's great. But that being said, it should not have taken 6 whole months for me to stabilize my schedule. But that's partially on me. That's mostly on me. I forgot to stream. I forgot to stream until I mentioned offhand. It's like, oh yeah, I make YouTube videos. I said that tonight, and then it all kind of came rushing back into my mind. I had a Jimmy Neutron brain blast moment. It was like, oh yeah, I used to smoke cigars in the morning and just ramble incessantly like a madman. And now I have plans to get back to that. Got a piece of tobacco on my tongue. Also, I have to piss real bad. That's probably because I decided to drink tea instead of Mountain Dew. Ew. But, yeah, it's great. It's great to, work and have a more stable schedule and not be working as much. I mean, this week's kind of an exception because I got to work 50 hours. But I mean, that's overtime, baby. I couldn't get that at Taco Bell after a certain point because, they get all pissy pee-pee about it. But it's great. And, because of that, I have a whole bunch of new funny stories about, shit that the boys get up to. Like the other day, one of my boys, went to go take a shit, and the GM was like, all right, so you better take... Yeah, I see you, skinhead. I see you, skinhead. I'm gonna tell him about that time, phonics. Yeah, I can see the messages. Don't worry about it. But I was gonna say, phonics, went to go take a shit, and our GM was like, "Or you better take 2 minutes," and he timed him on his phone. He took 3 minutes, and we also heard the toilet seat unstick from his ass, which was really good. Well, that was really funny. And then when he came out of the bathroom, I just turned around and I shouted. I was like, "Damn, boy, you gotta." What did I fucking say? Oh yeah, I was like, "Damn, boy, you got a soggy ass," and it was hilarious. It's great. Also, one thing that I was afraid of, right, when I came here to Martin, my number one fear, and this is going to be the stupidest thing. This is going to be the stupidest thing. I was afraid that I would not be able to use... I was afraid I would not be able to use slurs. Oh, fuck, they're back there. You fuckers. I was afraid I would not be able to use slurs. I can use slurs. I use slurs all the time. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great. I was afraid that I was going to have to hold in all my slurs, and the fact that it's dark, you can't see my hand gestures, but I was afraid I was going to have to hold in all my raucous slur energy Hey, Dave! 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 You're still alive. Is that those boys again? Are they coming right past me again?
Bye, Jared.
Hey!
See ya.
Later. But yeah, I was afraid that I would have to hold in my rampant slur energy and just unleash it, when I got back to the apartment off the clock. No, no, it flows. It floweth. Dave is alive. Oh my god. Dave, how is Muncie? I'm sure it sucks. I'm sure you miss I'm sure you miss the strength and certainty of night shift. Uh I would say that I would, but I already got done with a rant about how the boys remind me of night shift in a lot of different ways. But is it raining? But everything, it's okay. Well, yeah, yeah, Dave, it is sprinkling a little bit. But as long as I hold the cigar over here, we should be good. Dave, yeah, see, skinhead Dave is in the chat alongside you. Dave, Dave, I told them about some of our things. I work at Chicken Job now. Oh that sucks. Oh that sucks. Does Chicken Job in Muncie pay as bad as Chicken Job in Greenberg? Please say no. Please say it doesn't pay as bad. Please say the pay is better. Please say the pay is better. I hope that genuinely for you. Also the seal on the I have my hand out the window just to feel the rain because oh my god, it's hot. But the seal, one of the seals on top of the car. No, wait, no, it doesn't pay as bad, or no, it's shit. Please don't let it be shit. But anyway, I have my hand out here, and I could feel one of the seals coming off. I had to patch the other one because it just the rubber piece came off. So I'm gonna have to do it on this side too because it's coming off. Oh my god. See, all right, hell yeah, Dave. Hell yeah, Dave. We're both getting paid more. Technically, I took an hourly pay cut. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Technically, I took a pay cut, but with the bonuses, it's a lot better. I make more money than Saggy Tits now. Fuck that guy. Dave, come, Dave, come work for us. Fuck. Once I become GM, Dave, I'll send out the night shift signal to everybody. Please come to Martin. Please come work in Martin. It'll be great. You'll fit right in. You'll fit right in, Dave. Everybody at Domino's has autism, except for me. Everyone here in Martin has autism except for me. It's great. Even the owner has terminal super autism. Dave, Dave, the owner makes you look like a normal, you know, adjusted individual. And if I become GM, I'll just when it's not even an if, it's a when. I'll just put out the signal like, hey, Dave, Donna, Anthony, Kelsey, everybody, Martin awaits. I want my people back. I want my night shift. But maybe not on nights, but all in the same store, and everything is better. But yeah, yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. And if I have to, I'll use one of my bonus checks to just fucking rent out a cargo container and ship you guys out here. Like, okay, I have arranged for suitable housing and temporary. I've arranged for temporary housing. I bought a shed for somebody to live in until we can find appropriate housing. It'll be great. And then after that, we'll use the shed for Boost Week. Is It's good. I mean, this is a Sereno that I pulled out of the special box because I figured, why not return to the morning smoking streams with something special? And the Maduro Double X is definitely good. It's definitely good. It's a little dry because I need to boost the moisture level inside the box that I keep these particular cigars in, but it's good. It's good. I feel good. Except for the fact that my bladder is not doing so hot. Um, but we'll get to that. I might have to do a quick run into the apartment to use the bathroom real quick because I decided, it would be okay. I didn't commit to it. Yeah, yeah, no, Dave, I remember. Sometimes I do here in Martin, but it's fine because everything is easier and better. So, cleaning takes roughly the same amount of time, but also we can clean deeper, which is great. It's fantastic. But yeah, we're gonna return to form. We're gonna return to the morning cigar smoking streams. They are not going to be on whatever day I was doing them previously. They are going to be on Wednesday morning, technically, either after I get off work or just late into the night because I have Wednesdays and Thursdays off. Just that those are just my days off. You know, I mean, except for if I get called in, but I'm the assistant. That's kind of my thing. I have I'm you know I'm one I can do it. It's fine. That and the sweet, delicious overtime. $21 an hour in overtime. Oh, yes, please. I have been getting overtime since I started back in January, almost every week. It is delicious. I mean, you know, obviously, I would prefer to just sit at the apartment and play games and work on VTC, which we do need to start streaming the VTC stuff more again. Um, that'll be something else to utilize this power bank my mom gave. Wait, no, I have the cable. It's the same setup. I can just do it. Anyway, yeah, you guys can see my new apartment room where I don't need to hang up a curtain because I'm not going to be smoking. I can't smoke in the apartment, which sucks because I have to be out here in the car, melting in the humidity and the hot, and I'll die in the cold. Yeah, no, the VTC streams will be returning. I think Aiden will be happy about that because, we got a lot more work done when we were doing the VTC streams. So I think we can just keep up with that. That and also, there's during the last developer session when we did investigator, there was just some periods where I was just typing stuff and I could just feel the eyes of the other boys on me. So if it happens again, I'll be like, guys, please converse. Please don't just sit here and watch me work. Please talk amongst yourselves. Because it was really self-conscious. And so when I had a bit of a moment when my typing got really bad, it was everybody saw it and was like, okay, that's great. That's embarrassing. I fucking hate it here. But it's great. I really have to take a piss, and this rain is not helping. But Dave, magnificent to hear from you. You know my text, my phone number. You can text. My DMs are open. My schedule is changing, but mostly, I recently went back to closes as opposed to being the opening manager. But we'll see how that changes. It seems that right now I'm kind of like half closing, half opening. But you know my number. You have my Discord. You have my Steam. I am contactable through these methods, and I would love to converse. There's another car. All right. All right. We got boys running around in trucks now. Hell yeah. All right. But yeah, I am contactable. I am definitely conversable. I mean, I might not respond immediately if I'm at work, obviously, but whatever. I'll get back to you. That's just how that's how I've always rolled. But yeah, it's pizza job is great. My various healths have improved as a result of simply working one job, even though I get overtime. You know, just not working 80 hours a week at maximum is just it's magnificent. I mean, obviously I'm not making as much. I mean, I think I'm making more money now, but whatever. I still got debts to pay, and they're getting paid. I got. I'm actually meeting financial goals now. I mean, aside from setting them now, but I'm also meeting them. It's great. Okay, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to take a quick run to the apartment to take a piss. So I'm going to leave you on the camera off screen for just a second because, oh my God, my bladder. So I will be right back. All right, boys. I'll be honest with you all. I took a piss in the parking lot because it is currently almost 2 in the morning, and I don't give a shit. Nobody's out, you know. That I don't think I was gonna make it to the apartment. I don't think I was gonna make it. So, it's raining. It'll wash away. So that way I don't get my slippers dirty. Because I didn't even bother putting on my shoes. Because, the laces are starting to fray, and I don't remember where the replacement laces are. But, yeah. I just gotta, now that we are officially, as of midnight tonight, in the second half of the year, it is time, truly, to get back on track with the channel and the content, those primarily being me doing live streams. And maybe I'll go back to doing those like gaming one shots, because I still get those emails from that one. I still get those emails that I don't even know where they came. I don't even know how I got on their list, but I could still do that. Just get free game keys and just make reviews. Maybe I'll script them a little bit more, like I'm gonna do with the Duet Night Abyss video. Just kind of like semi-script them, and then just kind of go from there. Just kind of put some bullet points on a document, and then just put some gameplay, record some gameplay, and just kind of talk over it, as like I'm gonna do with DNA. But yeah, I might even, maybe we'll see some, some more gaming content here on the GZ channel, aside from the the smoking streams and the Mountain Dew videos and the VTC streams and all that stuff. It'll be great. It'll be fantastic. I think I can do that. I can incorporate that into the workflow. And for the, because I return to Greenberg every 2 weeks to do laundry at my mother's, because, we don't have a washing machine or dryer here, and, I do need to check up on her just to make sure she hasn't burned the fucking house down. I'm gonna make sure there's not anything important. Aiden, you bastard, you left trash in my car. You fucker. I'm gonna kill you. Not really, but, Okay, hold on. I can't see. I know there's other trash here. Where the fuck is the other plastic? There it is. Alright, I'm just gonna gather all the trash in one place so I can take it all in at once. Is there more trash in here? Yes, there is, you bastard! You bastard, Aiden! Is there more trash here? Hold on. Am I just gonna have to... Yeah, I do need to clean the car. I do need to clean the car. Really, I need to carpet clean the floor mats and the regular carpets and just vacuum it. And, wipe Zwei's cracks and crevices. Because there is still ash. There is still ash in the crevices of my dashboard. Oh, my momther has appeared. Anyway, yeah, there's still ash in the cracks and crevices of my dashboard from back when I smoked cigarettes. And that was 5-ish years ago now. And the ash is still there. It hasn't blown out when I've just left the windows open to air out my car. Also, you can't see it, but because I smoke in my car, and I don't put my cigar butts in the ashtray, I have just a Domino's bread box that I just hold all my cigar butts in, which I need to empty the butt box. I need to empty the butt box. Now, saying all these things that I've said, right, has returned a thought to my mind. Last year, 2024, things were looking to be on an upturn, right? And in my mind, I thought 2024 is going to be my year. Things are going to be great. Yes, mother, I am aware. Anyway, last year I thought 2024 is going to be my year. And then things took some pretty dramatic downturns. Which, happens. That life is full of ups and downs, as it were. But, I thought 2024 was going to be my year, and then it turned out to not be. we are now officially in the second half of 2025. And while I am not willing to say, I am not willing to go so far as to say 2025 is my year, 2025 has definitely been a great improvement in many ways. In many ways. I really do think, again, I'm not going to go so far as to say, oh, 2025 is my year. No, no. When I can get all my life things fully on track, when keeping up with the gotcha games and making content for this channel and, just generally doing my hobbies, outside of work instead of just kind of sitting around and kind of doing whatever, not really knowing what to do with myself, to be honest. Then once everything gets on track, I will then be able to confidently say this is my year. Maybe next year. It could be 2026. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. I am genuinely optimistic. I am genuinely optimistic. It's great. Things improved this year, notably, certainly. Yes, there has been some downs, but like I said previously, on average, it's been just a spike upward. And you can't see my hand gestures because I'm in the dark, but you can see stick my arm out the window because I blocked that window. But things next year, I am genuinely optimistic that next year could be my year, which I am looking forward to it greatly. It'll be great. Yo. Yes, skinhead. We've got this live stream's got like, if this phone counter thing here that I see. Oh, we got Phonics coming in. Oh boy, Phonics in the chat. All right, we got Phonics coming into the chat. Our soggy ass boy. What are you doing up? Don't you have to work? I'm joking, of course. I don't. You're basically an adult. Me too. Yeah. Wait a minute. Is that Phoenix? Oh my God. Is that the Buffalo Chicken Boy? Is that the Buffalo Chicken Boy in my chat? Oh my God. All right, so it turns out my pizza job boys are all just going to take turns cyber stalking me. Hell yeah, dude. Right, can't see hand gestures because I'm in the dark. Right. Anyway, as I was saying, if this phone thingy at the top here is accurate, then I think this is the most concurrent viewers I've ever had, which, isn't saying much because I'm a nobody. Hell yeah, I'm a nobody. But, it'll be great. Also, one thing that, just came to my mind is one video that I'm greatly looking forward to making is more psychotic Mountain Dew alchemy utilizing Gamer Subs powders. Because I may or may not have gotten in on a pre-order for some merchandise from somebody that I watch who is partnered with Gamer Subs. I may have purchased some merchandise, which will be on full display during the second Psychotic Mountain Dew Alchemy video. And then from there, I think I might just, buy a couple of tubs and just kind of go there and be like, okay, what does this taste like? And, oh, the only thing is that with the Gamer Subs, I am going to have to be really careful with it, because that stuff do titty milk. Oh my God, yeah. I'll probably just source recommendations. Which, yeah, there we go. I'll buy a tub of the dragon fruit and I'll buy a tub of the titty milk, and we'll see how that mixes with Mountain Dew. I won't use the blender again because, I want my drink to be bubbly. I want it to be fizzy, and I don't have like a recarbonator machine thing. Wait a minute, that was Buffalo Chicken Boy. Wait a minute. I saw you. But yeah, we'll do some more of that, and hopefully I won't get like drastically supercharged and horrifically horny like I did last time. Luckily I'm not gay. Otherwise, I might have accidentally gaped my boss, and that'd have been something. As I say all these things with my own mother in the chat. Well, if this wasn't YouTube, I'd say some slurs to scare her off because we're not. Me and my mom's relationship is not like the relationship between my boss and his mom, where they call each other slurs. You know, do your parents really love you if they won't call you slurs? That's the question to consider this morning. Tonight, whatever you can, whatever it is. It still hasn't rolled over to Tuesday for me because I still operate, like I did on night shift, where the day didn't technically roll over until I went to bed. But hopefully, that's the question to consider: is do your parents really love you if they don't call you a slur? You know, I th you know, I can jokingly say next year is it. Wait a minute, who is that? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Ah, well, next year will be my year, probably. I hope so, because hell yeah, I can tell you what, right? Just in terms of the VTC stuff that I'm going to be working on next year, it's going to be magnificent. It's going to be a slog to actually make the content. Oh, okay, I see. We got KOTOR 2 in the chat. Gotcha. All right, sweet. Sweet. But just in terms of like the tabletop stuff I'm going to be working on next year, it's going to be magnificent. It's going to be I mean, the end product is going to be magnificent. The actual writing of the product is going to be not great. It's not going to feel good. I'm going to be sitting there like, "Oh fuck, what do we do?" But working on VTC stuff is like, pushing a boulder, down a hill where, the initial effort required to get the boulder rolling is a lot. It takes a minute to get the ball rolling. But once it starts rolling, oh boy. I mean, the other VTC streams are evidence of this, because once me and Aiden get going with with ideas, they floweth. Once we figure out like a general theming for the thing that we're working on and how we want it to work, the ideas floweth, and it is magnificent. So, am I looking forward to it? Yes, but just getting the ball rolling is going to be the hard part. But I mean, if that's the only hard part, then hell yeah, give me that. No, I'll take that all day. Because everything is better. Everything is better now. And I say that, and I've been repeating that for this whole stream, that everything is better. Yet, oh, but you're not willing to call this year your year. Well, I mean, we're still in the second half. I think saying, oh, this year was my year. I think that's more kind of a looking back kind of thing, right? It's more of a thing where it's like, oh, it's the year after, or something, and you look back on it and go, yeah, that was my year. You don't say it in the present, because then that kind of just sets you up for that just kind of sets you up to have a year like I had in 2024, where things started off pretty good, and then made just took a kind of a sharp downturn, which is kind of, I mean, it happens, good and bad, it happens, whatever. I'm repeating myself here because I worked like 15 hours a day. I'm kind of tired. I still have some long work days, but it's not every day like it was last year, which is fine, which is good, which is better in every way. I'm gonna have to roll up the windows, aren't I? Because it might pour, and hopefully it does pour, because it's humid as hell. It's been humid as hell all week, and I hate it. I hate it. I also need to shave. It's July. It's now the beginning of the month. I can go out on the balcony and shave, because I still shave outside, because I don't want to clean up a sink. So I just let the wind carry my facial hair to wherever it wants to. Of course you helped. I'm not going to deny that you helped. I am not gonna sit here I am not going to sit here and say, oh, all these improvements in my life have come from the providence of God and my own efforts. All right. This is something that I don't express as much as I did when I was at Taco Bell. But, you know, you boys are you boys are a big part of what makes it better. You know. You guys don't make my work life insufferable. I mean, 2/3 of the crew at Taco Bell did that, and I wasn't really wrapped up in the dramedy of Greensburg pizza job. Uh, but that's that. That I mean, I wasn't really wrapped up, and I hear about it, and it's funny. But yeah, you boys are definitely a big part of it. You guys make it so much easier, and it's great. You know, I look forward greatly to the day where I can just kind of sit back on my day off and you guys can handle it. You know? I mean, you're getting there. You're getting there. It's not, you're not quite there yet because, when shit hits the fan at, here in Martin, it hits the fan. I'm not going to deny, I'm not going to mince words like that. But once you get, you guys will get the crew, we'll get them trained, and it'll be fantastic because we don't have a horrendous turnover rate, like we did at Taco Bell. So that means since people are staying, we can actually properly train them, and everybody gets along. There's no stupid dramedy. There's no okay. It wasn't even dramedy at Taco Bell, right? It wasn't even dramedy. It was just stupid. It was stupid people drama, and it wasn't even night shift wasn't even involved. But we got the we were wrapped into its consequences, right? But that isn't happening here at Pizza Job, here in Martin. It probably would have happened had I been promoted in Greensburg. I probably would have gotten stuck in it. I mean, I kind of was when I was opening, when the screaming matches took place, and I was witness to that, and I was so tired and just worn down that I was like, look, if it happens again, I'm out. But then the days where I would go in with those thoughts, it wouldn't happen. It's like, all right, cool. That was God. That was the hand of God, holding me there, which it benefited me in the end. So thank you, God, for finally helping balance out my life a little bit. Thank you, God, I guess. But yeah, because you boys, don't quit, which, I could, some people older than me be like, oh, kids these days don't have the work ethic and blah, blah, blah. It's just because you see social media and you see kids being shitheads, you know. But, the boys we got here, yeah, you guys are good boys. All right. All right. Just ignore Riggs. That's, that's my advice. That's my advice is just ignore Riggs being a pissy pee-pee little baby, about shit. You know, it's like I told you boys. I think he's forgotten where he's come from, which kind of sucks. But hey, I guess that'll really jump up and become evident when when you boys have your food safety stuff and he still doesn't. Ooh, ooh. That finding that out was a funny piece of information. Yeah, well, you know, I have not been as vocal with my praise and appreciation of the crew as I was during night shift. But even then, at Taco Bell, it was understood that I was pleased with the shift. It would become extremely obvious if I wasn't pleased with the shift, which was rare and typically was usually centered around, one individual's actions that day. Yeah, I was I was pissed off all the time, but that was because of, morning and mids and the customers, because fast food customers are a plague, and I need to roll up the window because I'm getting wet. Hold on. You guys are gonna hear Zwei fucking beep. Hold on. Hold on. Alright. Rolling up the window. Alright. We're just gonna rely on the fact that that I'm keeping the driver's window cracked, which I think I still have that confetti cannon over on that side. And hopefully nothing comes in through the sunroof to fuck my shit. You know. And the funniest part of this whole thing, right? The funniest part of this whole thing with like the way that I act is, back at Taco Bell, I was the head night shift manager. It was not an official title by any means, but it was what I was. Which was evidenced by the fact that when I had my little outburst that got me banned from the chat there, I nearly got fired. And the primary thing that saved me was the fact that my night shift would have left with me, right? I forgot where I was going with this. Give me a second. Oh, yes. Okay, I remember. Right, so I acted at Taco Bell like I was the biggest man there. Like I was the one in charge. I acted like that, and to a certain extent I was. There was a time period where I was doing the GM's job for him. He was paying me. Not the current one, but one of the previous ones. And now I have shifted to a reality where eventually, is this coming in? No. We have now shifted to a reality where that is going to be reality. In which case, I have years of practice acting the part. I just didn't have the title or the pay. So we've transitioned from me acting the part to a point to where in the future I will actively have the part. Yeah, that's going to come with some responsibilities that I haven't actually had to bear the full brunt of, but I think it can be done, and it can be done. I think it can be done rather well. Really well, really goodly, as it were. That's not a word. That being said, it is still one of those things that I go back and forth about. Do I really want it? But that's just, those thoughts, as they have been, as they have reemerged as a result of recent events, is just me being aversive to change, which just, that feeling of being adverse to change just grows. I think it just grows stronger as you get older, right? And, I think it's mostly just that. Like, do I really want this? And in reality, it's just, yeah, I want the money, and the responsibilities don't, the full weight of those responsibilities don't necessarily appeal to me, but it is a requirement for actually, being able to, walk the walk, not and talk the talk, really. I've got so much practice with the latter half, but the former we'll really see. I mean, it kind of helps that I kind of just ignore the supervisor when he, cries and whines, which, I'm really good at that. It's so easy. It's so easy because, I know how far I can push before consequences happen. And as long as things don't become catastrophic, then I think we'll be good. I think we'll be great. So, the future is bright, certainly, and I genuinely think so. And it's not just me that is contributing to the brightness of that future. It is the fact that I have moved from 2/3 trash ass fucking crew to 100% adequacy at its worst. I said that before, right? I've said that before, that, during this stream, that at their worst, these boys are adequate. At their worst, you know. And the thing is, when it comes to their best, because you boys have because you boys are here and you're getting better, then that means what your best is, the ceiling for what your best is constantly rising. At the same time, the floor is also rising with it. So eventually, what will happen as a result of this, if you follow my logic here, is eventually, if we keep on this trajectory, which will happen because naturally you're going to get better at the job and, whatever. So naturally, following this train of logic with the floor and the ceiling rising, eventually what will happen is even at your worst, you will be good. You will rise above adequacy, and your worst will be good. And so therefore, that means that your potential for what your best is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Which is great. That potential does not exist even today at Taco Bell back in Greenberg, because Taco Bell in Greenberg is staffed with people who they're just there. Yeah, they kind of get some good interaction, and their cliques and whatever. I mean, there are cliques everywhere, but they're just there to work. They're not there to actively be, they're not there to make it good for everyone else around them, which, you guys just kind of naturally do that, which is such an improvement. It's one of the reasons why I've, been able to not be so pissy and angry all the time, because it's like, all right, I actually look, no matter the combination of people that I come into on a given day, I know we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a good time. Shit might suck because business might absolutely fist us. But no matter the combination of people I walk into, I still I don't dread having to go in and go, oh fuck. It's not like Taco Bell where it's like, oh fuck. This selection of people is working, so they're gonna come with this fucking baggage that I'm gonna have to put up with before I kick them out of the store. It's like, okay, these people are working. All right, I know how conversation's gonna go. I know we're gonna be able to have some good laughs. I mean, obviously we're gonna complain about the customers, but who doesn't complain about work? I mean, that's whatever. It's fine. It's great. Another thing is I'm not frequently saying like I hate it here. I started doing that at Taco Bell because it was just true forever. It was just true for so long. Like, I fucking hate this place. I would say that at least once a day at Taco Bell. But it's like I said when I first got the pizza job. I don't hate it. There's that old phrase where it's like, oh, do what you love, and you'll never work a day in your life. That I don't think that's applicable for everybody. I think for some people, it's just a matter of, yeah, see, there's always a laugh about something. Whether it's me, doing my impersonation, of Alec being like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself, all that shit, right? Fuck, I completely wiped my memory. I must be tired. Shit, what was I saying? Fuck. Crap. Okay, hold on. Let me think. Yeah, okay, now I remember. Got it. I remember. I don't hate working, being the pizza man. Back when I was the taco maker, eventually I came to hate it. But just because every day was, one of a handful of flavors of shitty. But with Pizza Job, even back in Greensburg, it's like, this is fantastic. This is great. There's not really any, drama. It was more dramedy than drama, really, because, but you know, it wasn't some flavor of shitty. And even moving here to Martin, it's still not. With a completely different crew. It is still not. And it's just kind of spitballing here because, I don't really have as much thinking time as I used to, but we'll get to that. Um, it's just because of a difference in the quality of people, which, you know, considering we're using Taco Bell as the point of comparison, I'm not surrounded by, you know, felons and drug addicts, you know, which, yeah, I'm not surrounded by felons and drug addicts who, come with various different attitudes on life and whatnot, you know. Uh, you know, I'm actually surrounded by good people, you know, by 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 an entire crew of good people, not just a handful that I primarily work around. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, previously I would have said something like, oh, it doesn't matter. I can just, endure. I mean, yeah, I could endure, but it does matter. It does matter. Being surrounded by higher quality people overall is better, and it does matter. And so, that's kind of what that's kind of what that's kind of what I've moved to in changing from tacos to pizza, is just, it seems like it seems like pizza just isn't built for shitty people, you know? It just doesn't seem like it. I mean, one might say, oh, it's because of the structure of the job and everything. I mean, at the end of the day, comparing Taco Bell to pizza, it's, I mean, at its core, it is the same. You are making food for people who, wouldn't give a shit if you died, because, as long as they can get their food. And that's not even me going into saying stuff like, oh, well, pizza customers just are better, mostly. Across the board, on average, whatever you want to say, pizza customers are just better. Just because the structure of how pizza places work is fundamentally different, even though at its essence, it is the same. I'm talking a lot with my hands, and it's not really visible, at least insofar as I can see. But, you know, the customers are better, the people are better, and it's kind of just set up that way, which is fantastic. Fast food fucking sucks. Fast food fucking sucks. It sucks to work there. It probably sucks to be a customer because, the employees hate their job and they hate you. You know, I will not go so far as to say that I hate our customers. I mean, I say that whenever an order pops up when I'm in the middle of something, but that's just kind of my gut reaction from years of working at Taco Bell. It's not, I don't actually hate our customers. Yeah, I have a general disdain whenever somebody's being real shitty, but who doesn't, you know? So, to return to my previous point, finding something that you love to do isn't applicable for everyone. And so, therefore, the reasoning that I have taken when it comes to, doing work to sustain my lifestyle is it became last year, do something that you can tolerate so that way you can survive. However, moving and just putting down fast food as a job, it's, you know, yeah, it's still do something you can tolerate, but also make sure that the people that you're doing that work with are just are just better, you know? I think I think I've just been looping endlessly, which, you know, I this was kind of impromptu. I didn't really think of a larger topic that that I used to do, like the light cones on those fucking lights. Which actually, hold on. Okay, we don't have any of those. We don't have any of those here, so I won't loop on that. At least not yet. Also, I haven't really seen a lot of those weird LEDs here in Martin. But then again, I don't really go out to look for them. They were kind of just in. They were kind of just on the path whenever I would go home. But yeah, next week I'll have something to rant about. I'll think of something. I always did. But today's smoke rant, as the as the season 2 episode 1 in July of this year, starting off strong in the second half of the year, hopefully, is pizza is better because the customers are better, the people are better, and the business model is better. And it's fantastic. And also, the takeaway here is, because of that, I have been able to be so much better. It's fantastic. It's great. Now, with all of that in mind, everything that I've looped on repeatedly during this live stream, everything that I've looped on, there is one question that remains in my mind, which I have already answered. And this might not be the thing that people want to hear, but it is the truth. And that is, that's important. All right, that is important, that this is the truth. The question is this fucking rain coming in? Am I gonna have to close the sunroof? Hold on, let me just reach up here real quick. We're getting a couple of stray droplets, but nothing big. Anyway, the question that I have the answer to is, in regards strictly to me, with everything that I've said, the question, am I happy? Am I happy? No. I have not achieved the venerable lifelong goal of achieving happiness. But I am much, much closer than I was. My one singular desire that I hold in my frozen over heart is still there, and it has still not been met. But with the way things have improved, I can say with certainty that progress towards happiness has been made. And I can also say with absolute certainty that that is fantastic. There is no other word to describe that. That is fantastic. And to be honest, I think that I am closer to that than I have been, despite the ups and downs. Like I've said several times already, there have been a lot of there have been a lot of ups and downs. Yeah. See you later, skinhead. I'll see you at work. I'll just finish up my smoke and my rant here. Fuck, I am gonna have to close the sunroof. Put the keys back in the ignition. You're gonna hear Zwei beep again. You're gonna hear the window. Alright. Cause it's coming down now. Ow. What? Oh, I was hitting the wrong button like an idiot. Alright, so the driver's seat is gonna be a little moist when I get up. But that's fine. Anyway. Right, I have made progress, and that is fantastic, and that is the word to describe it. Fantastic. But, and this is the other half of it that I've been kind of skating. But there's still a lot that needs to be done on that path in order to get there. And I know that a lot of it has been like me hyping up and being positive and all this. This is where we're going to take a little bit of a turn, turn down a little bit. With that being said, and I think I have said this on live stream before, when it comes to and with all this in mind, I'll amend my statements to update my statements, as it were, to incorporate what we've got. I do not presently, and that's an important word to include there, I do not presently have the necessary skills, or even the resources for that matter, but that can be remedied easily, to make the rest of the progress that I desire. But, with everything that I've said, with the improvements that are tangible, well, they're not tangible, but with the improvements that are observable, and have been observed by me, I think that it is a genuine possibility that I could, perhaps, still have a chance to acquire those skills that I need in order to make the rest of that journey. Which, again, I forget that I'm sitting in the dark and you can't see, I mean, you can see, the gestures on my right hand because, the window. But I think it's possible. I have been, I have finally been granted a genuine optimism for my future. And it's nice. It's nice. How bad is this window getting? It's not too terrible. See the butt box is still dry, except for when I touched it with my wet hand just now. Cool. But yeah, a genuine optimism, and it is different. It is different than what I have expressed in the past. And it's neat. Just kind of continuing to ramble and spitball here. It's really neat. I think it's really neat. Even with my trepidation about continuing to move upward and all this and that, and even with my kind of gut reaction resistance, that optimism still remains. That genuine optimism. I mean, yes, there is still kind of that realism kind of tempering it. But even with that, it is still strong. And that's really neat. It's new. It's, it's great. And, maybe I was, more spot on than I thought when I said, when I said that, maybe next year will be my year. Maybe it will be. But I will reserve that. I will, optimistically, I will say, yes, it's a distinct possibility that next year could be my year, for sure. But the realism tempering that is, I'll wait until 2027 to look back at the ups and downs and, cast judgment then. But I am still genuinely optimistic that maybe next year is going to be just just fantastic. And again, I keep forgetting no hand gestures because it's dark, and you can only really see a silhouette of my visage as my flesh continues. Well, actually, because it's raining, it's cooled off, so it's not so gross out, and my flesh has stopped melting so badly. I really need to I really need to take more rinsing showers, especially after it's been so gross and muggy. Maybe I'll do. Well, I don't have to be at work until 3, so maybe I could. Hit the bed and then kind of rinse, kind of wash off, kind of rinse off before after I get up. But it's good. It's genuinely good. The changes that have, come in my life as a result of my choices and, the hand of God back in Greenberg. This is good. This is good. We're on a good path. And I don't think, kind of jumping back to some subjects from last year, I don't think I would have gotten that if I stayed a therapist. I think I would have gotten absolutely much, much worse if I had stayed a therapist. But it's kind of just comes with the territory of that kind of job. Alright, we're gonna gather up all the trash that's sticking to this condensation on the pitcher. What is this? That's the draw enhancer. That's the cutter. Gotta move the matchbox so it doesn't get wet. But yeah, I'm gonna take a drink from the pitcher. Oh, that is... Oh. I think I need to stir this. That's got some sourness to it, still. I mean, it's tart. It's not unpleasant, don't get me wrong, but I think I need to stir this. Let me swish it around a little bit, see if we can get some movement on this. Which, you can kind of see it because the pitcher's translucent. Let's just swish a little bit. Let me take another sip. Yeah, that helped. Swishing it around a little bit helped, especially since I drank it down a little bit more to where I can swish with some, without, fear of spilling it everywhere. But I think I will need to give it a proper stir, which means I'm gonna have to find a stirring rod of some kind. Do I have something long enough that I can use as a stirring rod? I'm pretty sure if I looked in the storage closet I could find some. But yeah. Oh, the power supply died, so I do need to keep an eye on the phone. Oh, the phone's still at like 90%. We're good. That's more than enough battery to excuse me, finish out the smoke, finish out the night. But that's it's kind of what this episode is about. It's just catching up. It's been half a year since I last did this, and that's what happens when you change jobs and move towns, right? Things get a little turned upside down a little bit. But I think finally we can return to form. I should roll down the back windows. See, I'm gonna have to reach across. Hold on. Yep, that's why you're beeping. There we go. I'm not gonna roll them all the way down because I don't want my back seat to get soaked. There is a cloud back there. Oh my god. Well, my car's gonna smell a little funky tomorrow, and I can't leave the windows down because it's raining. So we're definitely gonna have to imprison some of the cloud in here, and the car's gonna smell a little funky. Hopefully it isn't pouring down rain tomorrow, so that way on my drive to work I can kind of ventilate it. Also, I need to buy a new tree for my my forest hanging from my mirror. I need a new black ice tree, and I need to buy some injector cleaner. I need to, need to buy those things. Gotta do car maintenance, take care of Zwei, because gotta make sure she's well enough to stick by me for to see if next year's gonna be my year. Not that she's in great health. She's in great health, but she is from 2002. She's from 2002, so she's an older girl, and I do treat her gently. I don't drive as crazy as I used to. Mostly because I don't drive as much, really. But, whatever. When I do, I don't drive as crazy. because, you know, she's an older girl and I want to preserve her. Because cars are expensive, just like everything else, you know. Cars being, you know, more on the upper end of that because, you know, it's a machine that you're presumably going to have and presumably take care of for, you know, years. And, you know, considering my vehicle is older than a lot of the boys I work with, you know, that has intensified our kinship with each other. You know, we're both from a different age. You know? But at this point, I've kind of run out of stuff to talk about and kind of ramble. I kind of got it all out there, you know? So I think what I will do is I will sit here in peace for a few moments. Hope that the rain, I mean, it's not pouring, but, you know, I'm still going to get kind of moistened. Hope the rain dies down by the time I finish, and I think I'll just sit here. I think I'll just sit here and not let my phone die. Which means I now have to figure out how to turn off the live stream. So until next time, everybody, I've been GZ, and I'll see you all later. Later. Oh, I gotta hit the button. Okay, hold on. There we go.